see this? You see this? This Versace sweater? You get what you pay for. We are the Versace of this SP coaching shit. It is officially the holiday season. And I know this time of year is extremely difficult for some people out there because you are reminiscing on an SP relationship that you would like to have back. And the holiday season can't help but bring up those old feelings and those old memories. Or, quite frankly, I understand that there's many of you out there that have been single for an extended period of time, and you are tired of spending the holiday season alone, and you are just ready for that dream relationship. You are ready to finally find the fucking one. So my question to all of you is that's watching this video that is currently in this situation, what are you gonna do differently for 2025? For those of you that like to operate off of the 12 calendar year, 2025 is right around the corner. And I know many of you out there are tired of sleeping alone. You are tired of eating alone. You are tired of the burden of having to pay all your own bills, or having to do this and that by yourself. You want the help. You want the support. I see so many people on the internet say, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that. Yeah, you don't need it, but stop lying to yourself. You know for a fact you fucking want it. It feels amazing to wake up and know, yo, I ain't gotta pay for this shit this month because my partner is taking care of it. It feels amazing to wake up next to your partner and have some sexy time in the morning. Who don't love morning sexy time? It feels good knowing, yo, I ain't gotta cut the grass. I don't have to do the dishes today. All of that stuff feels great, but guess what? It all starts with a simple decision to start doing stuff differently, either now or when 2025 hits. I recommend now. Do not wait, because that is what majority of the people do, is they wait. They want to say, oh, when the new year hits, I'm gonna start doing this and that. No, start now. If you can, start now. And to me, you all can start now. And if you don't start now, it's just simply an excuse that you're giving yourself. A bullshit excuse, I might add. I heard a saying a long time ago that says, if you really want something, you're gonna find a way. If you don't, you're gonna find an excuse. Stop finding excuses and find the fucking way. For anybody that follows this channel, or if you follow Tim's channel, 2025, I want 2025 to be your year. No more BS. No more putting people before you. No more not sticking to your routine. You are the SP. Realize that shit. Nobody is above you. Act like it. Respectfully, of course. But fucking act like it. Because you deserve it. Because you are the best. Because you deserve love. Because I have the best fucking viewers on this channel. And one of you lovely viewers left a comment on one of my videos where I talked about a woman being let down by SP coaches in the SP community when it came to her being SA'd by her old SP. I highly recommend you guys check out that video because I go into detail and why it's so dangerous listening to certain SP coaches and certain SP people in the community, in the comments of videos or on Reddit, because they don't know what they're talking about and they quite frankly can't tell their right hand from their left hand. But the comment that the viewer left reads like this. Thanks for the video and sending so much love to this lady. You are not alone, Marvin. Could you do a video on manifesting a new person and perhaps give some success stories if you have any? Now my question is, how come Neville managed to manifest marrying his second wife while he was married and she, the second wife, was married too? They both left their spouses to marry each other. How come it worked for him but not for many people? Just curious why it works for some and not others. Were their self-concepts that high? Thanks. First of all, great question and thank you for that comment. I always personally believe we are a perfect match to who we are. For Neville's situation in particular, I think it's a mixture of high self-concept, but I also think it's just a matter of being a vibrational match perfectly to what you are and then matching that up with another person. So in this situation, no matter what Neville's self-concept was, whether it was up here or whether it was in the middle or whether it was down here, Neville was going to attract a situation that absolutely 1000% matched that. I personally don't know what Neville's self-concept was back around that time. There's no way to be able to predict that. Some would say it's a high self-concept, some would say it's a low self-concept because he attracted somebody else that was married and they both took each other from each other's spouses. So some could look at that in a positive way, some could look at that in a negative way. Neville could have had a negative self-concept. His self-concept could have been something along the lines of, oh, I'm older, it's going to be harder for me to find a wife. Maybe I should just find a wife who's already been there, done that like me, somebody that's the same age as me or around the same age as me, and maybe we should just make it happen. Because if Neville's self-concept was higher, perhaps he could have manifested someone who he didn't have to steal from their spouse. Perhaps he could have manifested somebody who was already single Perhaps if Neville's self-concept was so high, he would have never even went through a divorce in the first place. Have you ever thought about that? So in my opinion, Neville became a perfect vibrational match to another woman who was a perfect vibrational match to him because they were in the same exact situation, which means to me, in my opinion, they probably had the same beliefs, which allowed them to be the perfect match in holy matrimony. How come it works for him and it doesn't work for other people? That, my dear, is a nuanced question. Personally, I believe there's too many answers to this question. However, I think this is where self-concept comes into play because I think Neville still had to have a relatively great self-concept on a scale of 1 to 10, probably definitely over a 5 in order to manifest this happening and happening as quick as it did. And at that point in his life, Neville was already better at the law than pretty much most people he would come in contact with. So that allowed him to get faster results. At that point in his life, he had practiced the law so much that it became second nature to him most likely. Even though he had his flaws, he could still kind of make certain things happen faster than most people could. And that is exactly why, till this day, things don't happen for most people. That is why people can read The Secret or watch the movie The Secret, or they can study Neville and they can study Abraham Hicks and they can do all of that. But the fact that they don't get results is because they're simply reading and they're not taking action. I said in one of my recent videos, when it comes to manifesting, you have to either do two things when it comes to taking action. You're either gonna have to do the physical work, the physical action to get to where you wanna get to, or you're gonna have to do the mental work to get to where you wanna get to, or you're gonna have to do a combination of both. In the first part of your question, you asked about manifesting a new specific person. And that's part of how you do it, by taking action, either the mental action or the physical action. When I say mental action, I mean doing the LOA techniques, the scripting, the living in the end, the SATs, all of that type of stuff. When I say physical action, I actually mean going on dating apps, doing it the traditional way, however that way may be. Also taking the inspired action, of course, which naturally happens. The problem with LOA is most people, in my opinion, they think they're only going to be able to get away with doing the mental work, and it simply is not true. Most people think doing the mental work is, oh, if I affirm 24/7 for 3 days straight, my SP is going to come back and I'm going to get what I want. It don't work like that. Because if it did, the success stories would be through the roof for everyone. So ask yourself, where are all the success stories? Most of you guys out there are falling in love with the LOA techniques, not realizing that the techniques probably aren't going to work for you as fast and the way that you want them to work. But it's not because you're doing the technique wrong. It's because you probably should be doing other stuff besides the technique. See, a lot of you guys think this is a one-stop shop with manifestation. A lot of you guys are only doing one technique, maybe two, not realizing you're not going to get what you want by doing that one technique, because there's other stuff underneath the surface that you haven't taken care of and dealt with yet. So a lot of you out there are actually doing techniques and it's futile because your techniques are actually backfiring on you and they're actually causing the exact opposite to show up or the exact opposite to happen, or you're going to be feeling the exact opposite. Hence the reason I made that video a long time ago when I talked about people doing robotic affirming, people having anxiety and having to be on medication, going to the hospital, getting sick, actually physically sick. Doing affirmations literally made themselves throw up in their own mouths when they were doing affirmations. It literally made them sick when they were affirming for their SP. They were affirming for their SP and they said that they were doing it so much that vomit literally came up in their mouths. Think about that. That situation happened because they were not ready for robotic affirming. Many of you out there trying to get an SP, whether it's new or old, you really are not ready for robotic affirming. That's just the facts. I know robotic affirming is all the rage and everybody wants to do it because they think they're going to get results in 24 hours or 48 hours, but it's simply not the case, and it can 100% cause the opposite to happen for you. I cannot stress that enough. And usually what I see with people who do one technique like SATs or robotic affirm or whatever, what may happen is their person may come back or they may get somebody new, but they end up losing them again because they don't really have the tools and they're never focused on the tools in the beginning to get their self-concept up to worry about keeping their SP. See, everybody's so concerned with getting an SP back that they don't realize that there's another level to this. There's getting your SP and then there's keeping your SP and maintaining all of that in the middle. And what a lot of people don't want to admit and realize is maintaining a relationship with someone is so much more bigger than techniques. People fall in love with techniques and they think techniques are going to solve everything. No, you actually need real practical skills in the 3D to help maintain a relationship. You need to actually communicate. If you're having an issue with your SP and you're sitting there thinking, oh, me doing visualization, I'm gonna do visualization, I'm gonna do affirmations to get over this situation with my specific person. That ain't gonna work for a lot of people. So what you need to do is you need to actually know how to take 3D action at times. I'm not saying all the time, but at times to talk and communicate to your partner about whatever problems or issues are going on in the 3D, which is why most people need to combine techniques with actual 3D action in order to maintain a relationship or to actually go out there and find a new relationship. And this is why working with myself or working with Tim and I is so powerful, because we help combine these LOA techniques in a real practical way to help you navigate the 3D. Because I was talking to somebody the other day and they said to me, they said, this is what we really need help with. And this is what I said in some of my videos. We really need help with navigating the 3D, how to move in the 3D. That's what we need help with. You don't need help on how to affirm. You don't need to pay a coach to give you affirmations. You can do all of that on your own. You know how to imagine, how to use your imagination. You've been using your imagination since you were born, since you were 5, 6, 7 years old. You know how to script. You know how to do sats. You know how to do these things. What most of you out there need help with is in the 3D. How can I practically apply these LOA techniques in the 3D, and how do I know when to take action, and when I take that action, what should I do? That's what you guys need help with. That's what most of you guys need your hand held with. Also, in this question, you asked about success stories. Yes, we have a bunch of success stories. I've been SP coaching since 2019, basically. Tim and I have been coaching for the last 6 months together, basically. Yes, we have success stories. And the reason we have success stories is because Tim and I understand, and we help people understand, yo, this shit is bigger than a technique. Tim and I combine these LOA techniques with real world dating advice, because that's how it's gonna have to work. We combine these LOA techniques with understanding the masculine and feminine dynamic and understanding how men and women actually think. We can't ignore that. No matter how much LOA teachers try to tell you, oh, none of that stuff matters. You know, masculine, feminine doesn't matter. You don't need all of that type of stuff. Yes, most of us do, because we are living in this 3D world. People say, oh, the 3D isn't real, it's just a simulation. Go jump off a building and see if you survive, and see if 3D is a simulation. Go drink a whole bottle of rat poison and see what happens to you, and see if 3D is a simulation. 3D is not gonna be here one day for all of us in this physical body. One day, this physical body that we're all in, it will perish. So the 3D is 100% real. So stop listening to these motherfuckers out there talking about,
oh, the 3D's not real, it's just a simulation.
it is a simulation, but it's a simulation to an extent. That's what they're not telling you. There are limits. And the truth is, what most SP coaches won't tell you is that a lot of you guys would be far better off just taking practical, healthy dating advice. But see, where Tim and I have the edge is we know how to give practical, healthy dating advice, but we know how to mix LOA in there. So we really help people understand, yo, this is when you're supposed to sit still. Yo, this is when you're supposed to take action. But we really help people get results because, I mean, obviously Tim and I are both men, and we're approaching this from a masculine perspective. There's a lot of advice out here on YouTube about LOA and the principles and how to practice it. But a lot of these results are extremely passive, and passiveness ain't gonna work for most of y'all, especially men. So real quick, fellas, wake the fuck up and understand that you need to take action. Stop all this passive shit. Not saying it doesn't have its place in time, but understand you need to figure out how to take action, especially when it comes to getting a woman and courting a woman. And the same thing goes for women. Women, sometimes you guys gotta know when to fall back. Some of you are way too masculine in your approach in getting guys. A lot of guys don't like that. You trying harder than them or you being more aggressive than them. There's a way to do it. Again, it's nuanced. It depends. But this is where Tim and I, there's nobody better than us in this industry right now. There's nobody offering what we're offering right now, which is why our success is so good. You asked about success stories. I'll give you a success story real quick, or I'll give you 2 success stories real quick. In our SP mastermind that Tim and I started doing back in July, we've had a few people drop out of this group, and they dropped out of this group for great reason, because they feel like they got what they came to the group to get. We had a couple people in the group that came there for old SPs, but ended up healing and getting so much better that they are now talking to new SPs. SPs. One person we talked to a couple weeks ago said she was literally, it's official. She was like, yeah, me and my SP are basically getting ready to get in a relationship. And when this person first came to us about 6 months ago, this person was in a very bad situation from a self-concept perspective and mentally. I mean, Tim and I made some real transformational work with this person. This person could not leave the house. This person was stuck in a place for the past couple of years dealing with the SP, not being able to leave the house, not being able to drive because it would bring up too many memories, etc., etc. I mean, really bad situations. And we were able to get this person out of the situation in about 6 months from being obsessed and not being able to move and breathe without doing anything, being afraid to mess up the communication, the connection with their old SP. We went from that person being like that to that person getting healed and getting their self-concept right to now manifesting a new relationship from somebody from years back. And it's just going so well right now and so healthy. And this person dropped out of the group because they were like, yo, I got what I wanted. Everything is good now. I think I have the tools to go on my own, which is what Tim and I always want for you guys. But also too, the funny thing is this person actually did get back in touch with their SP because Tim and I, worked with this person and got them through that situation and got them back in touch with their SP. So their SP did end up reaching back out. But during the process of working with Tim and I, we helped this person heal so much and realize, you know what? I actually don't even want this person. I actually want somebody new because now I know my worth. Now I know who I am. I know I'm a queen. I know I'm a king. I know I deserve that kind of treatment. So now my old SP showed back up, but now I don't even want them. And now I got a new person. And this is exactly what happened. So in this situation that I'm giving you the story, their old SP did show back up. But then this person, after a couple of months of them showing back up, this person decided, no, you know what? I'm not gonna do this hot, cold stuff. I'm better than that. You know what? My self-concept is elevated. I'm on to somebody new. I'm blocking you. I'm not talking to you no more, old SP. Goodbye. Now I got a new SP and we're getting ready to get in a relationship. We also had another person we worked with who was extremely shy, who didn't like going out, who didn't really like communicating with people, etc. We got this person to be able to kind of confront that fear and get past it, be able to meet somebody new who also originally came in for an SP situation. But I'm curious to know that if at some point in the future, will their SP also come back? Manifesting a new person is about a myriad of things, but one of which is getting in the expectant state. Getting in the state of expecting a new person to come into your reality. Now, you can't do that if you don't do some other things underneath the surface for a lot of people, which is, again, what we help people with. But you got to get into that expecting mode. You got to expect it. You got to start doing things potentially in the 3D. And again, this is nuanced, like I always say. But sometimes you got to start doing things in the 3D to prepare for your new person to show up, to get that feeling. What would it feel like to wake up next to your SP? What are you going to do in the 3D to make that more of a reality? Perhaps that means sleeping on one side of the bed because you're leaving that other side of the bed for your SP. My SP always sleeps on this side. This is their favorite side. Start doing that. Start making space in your closets for your new SP, saying this is where my SP is going to keep their jacket, their clothes, their shoes, all of the above. Make space in your bathroom. This is where my SP is going to keep their toothbrush. Start doing things in the 3D to increase that expectancy because that is faith. Taking that blind action, that blind faith. And that's what you do. But again, this is also nuanced because again, like I said, there's getting them and there's keeping them. In order for this to work and for it to really be successful, in my opinion, there's a lot of stuff that probably might have to take place depending on each individual situation. Because this shit ain't no one size fits all. I love how a lot of coaches sometimes, they like to talk and act like, oh, LOAs are one size fits all. No, affirmations ain't gonna work for everybody. Doing sats ain't gonna work for everybody. This is why Tim and I are always effective and get through to people when we work with them in most cases, because we understand that each situation is nuanced and we have to attack each person differently when it comes to manifesting a new relationship or an old one back. But bottom line, for a lot of you, it's going to take a lot more action than you are taking right now currently, whether that is mental or whether that is physical or whether that is both combined. And we will help guide you through that. What most of you have to understand, about coaching, particularly getting in a relationship and maintaining a relationship, this stuff is so detailed, so minute, stuff that you miss that you don't even know that's there. This stuff isn't, oh, I'm gonna pay a coach $150 one time for some affirmations. I'm gonna pay a coach $250 for one session and then I should be able to go on my way and figure things out. No, that is not gonna be the case for 90% of you. Most of you guys are going to somebody and you're gonna pay one fee one time and thinking that, oh, I'm going to go to them one time and it's going to solve all my problems. Why do you think people go to therapy multiple times? They go at least once a week for an extended period of months or sometimes even years. Why do you think people do that? Because this stuff, for a lot of people, it is not going to happen as fast as the internet would like you to think. Most of you guys, this stuff is going to take time. And the sad part is, a lot of times your friends and family aren't going to cut it. I just heard the other day somebody tell me a story about one of their friends and the advice that they gave them. This person had somewhat of a belief that men like women who are bitches. Men like when women act bitchy to them. They're attracted to that. They kind of like that. So this belief then caused this person to go to one of their friends and ask their friends, hey, do men really like women who act like bitches towards them? Because the person that asked this question, this person's old SP is dealing with a person currently who basically acts bitchy to him. And she was wondering, why is he with her? Why is this happening? She kind of had that belief and figured that out. We figured that out. And so that made her go ask her friend. And her friend, when she asked her guy friend basically confirmed to her what her beliefs were.
Yeah, I think men do like women who are bitches at times. Yeah, we do.
My personal take on that, when I was speaking to this person, I said, no. I said, that is not true. I said, maybe a guy that is unhealed, a guy that has issues that he needs to work through. I said, but a healthy masculine man, his healthy masculine energy, somebody that is healed like me, I said, no, I do not like bitchy women. I will never like a bitchy woman. I will never tolerate that. And I'm sure Tim feels the same way. And I'm sure other people that are like me, that are healed and healthy, feel the same way. Men do not like bitches. Get that through your head, ladies. Only a man who is unhealed, who has trauma, who is beta potentially, will deal with a woman who acts bitchy and has an attitude all the time. But back to what I was saying, paying somebody one time for some affirmations or to just kind of give you a blueprint, whatever the case may be, that's not going to work. Most people, it's sad to say, but it's the truth. Most of us in life, we need our hands held. We need somebody there to tell us what to do. We need somebody checking in. I've said this already in past videos. I'm just regurgitating it. I'm just emphasizing that this is how it's going to be for most people. And this is why Tim and I, in our mastermind group, or when people work with us immersively, one-on-one, especially for guys, because guys, it's your job to take that alpha role in a healthy, masculine way, not a toxic way, but a healthy way, because most women, they want to be pursued. They want to be pursued in a healthy way, not a creepy way, not a toxic way, in a healthy way. And as a guy, this is what Tim and I help try to disseminate to all of you men out there, is to stop being so fucking passive. Stop letting LOA make you fucking passive. Take fucking action. And guess what? That's the real SP coaching. That is the real high ticket SP coaching. Because Tim and I, we're not low ticket SP coaching. If you want to pay low ticket, if you want to go pay $40 something, if you want to go pay $100 something for a session, or you want to pay $40 something a month or $70 something a month to get in these SP groups that are toxic, frankly, by the way, from what I've seen and what I've heard from working with people, if you want to pay that money, go ahead, pay that money. I have no problem with it. Start somewhere. But to me, a lot of that stuff out there is low ticket. Tim and I, we are the real high ticket SP coaches, because we basically guarantee results in a sense. We might not guarantee you to get your SP back, but we guarantee your self-concept will go from here to fucking up here. And we guarantee you that you will probably find a new relationship and you will thrive in that. And there is a good chance that your SP will come back. Now, what happens after they come back? I don't know. The results are sold separately. The work is there, but the results are sold separately. So I don't know what's going to happen between you and your SP when they do come back, because that is a result of you actually sticking to a script, sticking to a plan that a coach gives you. Or if you stop working with a coach, are you going to have the gumption to continue to stay disciplined throughout the months, throughout the weeks, throughout the year, even without having a coach there holding your hand? And the answer to that for most people is no. So I want you to understand, only come work with Tim and myself if you are a high ticket SP client. Tim and I are high ticket SP coaches, because we know we are going to get you high ticket results. If you spend at least 3 to 6 months with us, because that's baseline, if you spend at least 3 to 6 months with us, we guarantee we're going to get you high ticket results, because you get what you pay for. A lot of people don't understand. They are out here paying no money, or they're paying just one time, where I'm going to pay you this for that. I'm going to pay you $40 this. No, you get what you pay for. People are willing to pay for results. A lot of you guys aren't getting results because you're getting what you paid for. You paid for one session thinking one session where the coach is gonna do the job. Oh, I paid one whatever, $100, $200. I got all these affirmations. I know what to do now. And then 6 months later, you've gone nowhere. You're still stuck. No, you probably got to invest more than that. More time, most likely, and you probably got to invest more money. A lot of you guys don't like hearing that, but it is the truth. And I know that because when people, like I said, work with us for at least 3 to 6 months, if not longer, the results that they get are there because they actually have somebody there holding their hand and guiding them and telling them what to actually do in the 3D, which is what most people are missing. Again, you get what you pay for. How successful do you really think you're gonna be in a relationship if you pay somebody $40 a month? Or if you pay somebody $200 one time and then you go off on your own? How much results do you really think you're gonna get versus you staying in a 6-month program or a year program to actually transform yourself? Because like I said, this stuff ain't gonna happen overnight for most people. You get what you pay for. You see this? This Versace sweater? You get what you pay for. This sweater was at least a few $100s. I don't know how much this sweater cost. You know why? Because I didn't buy it. I manifested this sweater. When you know how to manifest, you get people to give you high-end gifts like this. I've manifested multiple high-end gifts just like this sweater, and I didn't have to spend a dime. You know why? Because I've done the work, and I'm consistent with doing the work. I'm not just consistent for a month, I'm not just consistent for 2 months, I'm not just consistent for 6 months, I'm consistent for life. And this sweater is a perfect representation of what I offer and what Tim offers. We are the Versace of this SP coaching shit. We're not the Payless of this SP coaching shit. We are the fucking Gucci of this SP manifestation shit. If you want to get your SP back or if you want to get a new SP, you already know who to come to because it's quality over quantity. Fuck this shit.